All right, everybody. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. We have made it to the weekend, and I was going to post this video yesterday, but I thought about it, and then I was like, you know what? It's going to be a slow weekend, probably. There's not going to be a lot going on. It's probably going to be like a slow 4 or 5 days, to be perfectly honest. I'm not expecting a lot of new information to come out until we get closer to the Super Bowl. So I decided, you know what? Let's save it for today. So this video is kind of a second part to a video that I posted yesterday. If you didn't see that video yet, go watch it. It's the video about the Seahawks supposedly being put up for sale this offseason after the Super Bowl. And basically, there was a response from the Paul G. Allen estate about the report. The Paul G. Allen estate, by the way, is the entity that currently owns the team. Jody Allen is the chair of that estate. So let's take a look at what they said. All right, everybody, before we go any further into this video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about the Sleeper app. We are just about to the Super Bowl. Now would be a great time to get on Sleeper. It's a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get scores, you can get news, you get alerts with blazing fast speed, all kinds of sports stuff. You can play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. Enjoy sports together with a community. Download the Sleeper app today. And when you do, use promo code SBN for up to $100 match on your first deposit. And also utilize the free $20 entry with no deposit required. All you have to do is make an account for that one. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper and have some fun with sports this year. All right, so to make a long story short, ESPN with Brady Henderson and Seth Wickersham released an article yesterday, and I'm like I said, I made a video about it, talking about how the Seahawks are going to be put up for sale after Super Bowl 60 in 8 days here, and basically detailing the timeline of events concerning Paul Allen and then the estate taking ownership of the team and why this is happening, and just basically kind of trying to frame the sale of the team. Now, I'll say it again. This is not a surprise to people that have been plugged in for a while because it's been known for years that Jody and the estate was going to eventually sell because that's what Paul Allen wanted. So let's start there. We know this will happen. The only thing being disputed by anybody is when it's going to happen, and the Paul G. Allen estate sent out a spokesman to make a statement after the report was released, and it was literally like within half an hour of this report getting released. And let's go through the statement here. I do want to be clear here that we don't know exactly what's going on here. There's no way we can, right? We're just average everyday people. We don't know what's actually going on behind closed doors. We don't know what's actually going on with the higher ups in the league. But also, let's keep in mind, you can't believe everything that you read. Just because somebody said it doesn't make it true. And in cases like this, I think that looking at the exact words being used is very important. So the statement is, we don't comment on rumors or speculation, and the team is not for sale. Now, obviously, this is a response to the ESPN article. But here's the thing, and maybe I'm being pedantic, but the statement in the statement is the team is not for sale. The article says the Seahawks will go up for sale after Super Bowl 60, meaning they are not for sale right now. So if you want to be technical, there is no actual contradiction in this statement. They're not denying the fact that the team could be put on sale in less than 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. They're not denying really the main gist of the report. They're just saying that the team is not for sale. And the fact that they're putting it that way, I can't help but look at that and think to myself, okay, the report probably at the very least has a lot of merit. I think the frustration here from the Paul G. Allen estate is not that this report is false. I got a lot of comments yesterday from people saying, oh, well, the report is false because the Paul G. Allen estate came out and said the team is not for sale. I don't see it that way. I think what is going on here is that the Seahawks, and again, this is where we get into speculation because none of us know. I want to be clear. I don't have inside information. The team is going to be sold or start the process of selling the team will start this offseason. And the Seahawks do not want people talking about that right now because we're about to play in a Super Bowl. That makes sense, right? They want the focus to be the product on the field. They want the focus to be the game they're going to play in 8 days. They don't want people talking about this. They don't want people thinking about this. So they release a statement like this. We've already said that will change at some point per Paul's wishes, but I have no news to share. And that's kind of another element here, right? We know that the team is going to be sold at some point because Paul Allen wished for it to happen. He gave a directive to his estate, to his sister, to Jody Allen, sell the team, donate the proceeds to charity. He didn't say when it had to be done by, which is why we're kind of not 100% sure about anything. But he did say he wanted the team sold, and Jody Allen and the Paul G. Allen estate have said it will happen. We just don't know when. So I look at that. I look at the fact that Paul Allen passed away over 7 years ago. And I look at the fact that the Trailblazers have now been sold and are going to be officially sold in the coming, I think, couple of months here. And it makes sense to me. Like, this is a good time to sell the team. They're back on top of the world. They won 14 games this year. They're about to play in the Super Bowl. They've got a super young, super genius head coach. They've got a young roster. They've got a great general manager. Like, this is a team that is going to fetch a lot of money because of how good they are doing things. They have one of the best home crowds. They have one of the best fan bases in the league in terms of showing up and wearing merchandise and participating in following the team. They've got a very, very hard stadium to play in. They've got a great stadium that is, by the way, going to get upgraded for the World Cup in, like, I want to say less than a year. It's going to be like $20 million in upgrades for the World Cup. There's a lot to like with this team right now. It's a good time to sell. It's not like this story came out at a random time where it's like, oh, the Seahawks are going to get sold while they're in the middle of a 6-11 or 7-10 kind of mediocre limbo year. No, this makes sense to sell now, especially if they win in a couple of weeks. But even if they don't, the future is so bright. The things are coming together so well for this Seahawks team. This is a good time to try to sell. So that part of it makes sense to me as well. Our focus right now is winning the Super Bowl and completing the sale of the Portland Trailblazers in the coming months. And to me, the first part of that sentence is kind of the whole thing here. The team is not really denying the report, but I think what they're doing is trying to take focus away from this story because it has nothing to do with the game being played in 8 days. And that game is the culmination of all the work they've done over the last year, really over the last several years. And they want the focus to be on that. If they go out there in 8 days and win the Super Bowl, they don't want this thing kind of hanging over all the conversations about it being, oh, and the team's about to be sold. They don't want that to be the conversation leading up to the game either. Not only does it have nothing to do with the product on the field, not only does it not have anything to do with the game of football, you could argue that it's a distraction that could damage the product on the field. And I do think that there's probably at least some thought about that. And look, if you're going to say that this story getting pushed out is malicious, like there were people, there are definitely people out there who are saying that the Patriots made this story go public. They leaked this story because they want distractions in the week leading up to the Super Bowl for their opponent. Maybe. I'm not denying that this is something the Seahawks did not want to get out, but I don't think they didn't want it to get out because it's fake. I don't believe this is fake. It could be. I fully admit that. I don't have inside information, but I also think that it makes sense. I also think that the timing feels about right. Again, Paul Allen passed away over 7 years ago, I believe. We're coming up on 7.5 years. Not shocking. So, I don't know. I got a lot of comments on my last video, like I said, of people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't have posted this video because the estate came out and said it's not true, so, this is all just made up." I don't see it that way, guys. It could be. It could be. But Brady Henderson is pretty darn good at this. Seth Wickersham is very credible. If they came up with this story, it's worth listening to. This is not Baker Breadman here. So, I don't know. Everybody's free to think about this the way they want to. I think that right now we shouldn't be thinking about it all that much. Obviously, it's a pretty big deal, but we got to get clear of this Super Bowl first. And the way I see it, this was always inevitable. We knew this day was coming, and I'm cool with it. I'm ready for it. I'm hoping we pick the right guy. But I believe that the reason why this statement was released is because it's not about football. And right now, this team should be all about football. They're about to play in the Super Bowl. Those opportunities don't come around every day. And the last thing that you want is people thinking about something as off topic of the Super Bowl as the team possibly changing hands in the next couple of years. So, in a way, it's kind of too bad this story came out now. I definitely think the team would have much preferred it to come out in like 2 weeks. But at the same time, it is what it is. And we still got a game to play. So those are my thoughts. Keep in mind that, once again, and I really want to specify this, I'm not saying that any of this is concrete or definitive. I'm not saying that I definitely know what's going on here. I just don't get the sense that Brady Henderson or Seth Wickersham would come up with a story that has no merit like this. Like, this is a pretty big story. There's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of people getting quoted. There's a lot of people being referenced here. I don't think that story would come together if it has no basis in reality. And like I said, you look at this statement, it's not even really refuting the point in the article. About the most you could say is that it seems to be trying to refute this statement. Sale discussions have taken place at ownership and league levels for at least the past week. This statement could be read as a refutation of that particular part, but I don't see anything here that's saying the team is not going to be sold. In fact, they say that the team will be sold. They just don't want to talk about it. They have no news right now. They have no news to share, which that doesn't mean there's no news, I guess. They just don't want to share it because, again, it's off the point of what we're doing over the next 8 days. And I do think there's a lot of merit to that. We got to get through this game. And look, I don't think the topic of this team potentially being sold in the offseason is any kind of a meaningful distraction for the players or coaches. Like, the players especially, I I guess there could be some kind of a bleed down effect from a sale, but we're probably at least a year away from the team actually being sold because these things take a while. A lot of these players, like, are they even going to be here by the time the new owner's here? Now, I could see McDonald being stressed out a little bit because he's going to have to prove his merit to the next owner because the new owner, we see this a lot. Owners come in and they're like, we kind of like to get our own guy in the head coaching spot unless the new guy's really, really killing it. Now, the good news is our coach is definitely killing it, and there's no way a new owner would come in here and clear him out. I guess there could be some stress there, though, but I don't think this is going to be something that affects the game. But at the same time, the team wants you to think about how good this season was. So, I don't know. That's how I read it. Let me know what you guys think, though. I'll see you guys soon. Go Hawks. More stuff coming soon. I'm probably not going to say too much more about this until after the Super Bowl because unless we get new information, because again, this is a big deal, but it doesn't have much to do with the product on the field. By the way, I might make a separate video about this down the line. Don't worry about this team moving. That's not going to happen. I saw a lot of comments about that too. Don't sweat that part. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks.